Hello everyone, my name is Darkmoondoll and this is Art Talk. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the creations I make. Some of the creations that I'm still working on and some of them that are on my Etsy shop. The first ones I'm going to talk about are the ones that I'm still creating. There'll be 2 in total. Drink water, it's really hot today. So, this one I named Kevin Darkmoon, and he is a papier-mâché rabbit, kind of in the horror style. What I used was old paper, whatever it is, newspaper, grocery store ads, whatever that come in the mail, crumple it up, put it in a pot with whatever, some sort of adhesive, glue. Some use flour. I use flour on him, but I don't like using it all the time because it can attract pests. So anyway, basically what I did was I formed him, just all of him, out of papier-mâché, except for his hair. His hair is actual rabbit hair. Someone gave us, or gave me some item of clothing that had actual real rabbit hair on it. I'm not into wearing rabbit hair sweaters or shirts or whatever, or clothing with animal fur and stuff on it. So I decided to use it for art, and I guess upcycle it is what you would call it. So anyway, yeah, the whole body from head to toe is papier-mâché except for the hair. His eyes are they're papier-mâché as well. See him. It's all done up in acrylic paints, and right now he's still drying, so he's still a little sticky. So yeah, after I finished him, I thought, this reminds me of a commentation on how much experimentation we do on animals, and what if, one of these experimentations survived and was half human, half animal, and it's walking around to show you, hey, look at what we do. Yeah, it's messed up. That's what came to my mind after I finished Kevin here. So yeah, it'll be done. Once he's done, he'll be on my shelf. And if you want me to show you how to make him step by step, or just a creation like him, because nobody can create the same thing as any artist has, you put your own twist to it, let me know. I can show you. Put it down in the comment section. Let's put Kevin down. Here's another one that I did. It's not papier-mâché. It's a rabbit, a little two-sided rabbit. Two sides to it. A lot of my dolls are two-sided. So yeah, so basically what I did with this doll, it started off as a cloth, just regular cloth doll. Someone gave me some rabbit ears. I attached the rabbit ears onto it, just sewed them on. And basically what I did was I glued on some eyes and lips. These are beads that I made myself, polymer clay beads. And yeah, I painted the whole thing, the cloth doll itself, completely with acrylic paints. Many layers of acrylic paints, if you can tell by the texture. So yeah, and then after I painted acrylic paints, I glossed it, put one coat of Mod Podge on there, and then let it dry, and then put 2 more coats on after and let it dry. The more coats of it on there, the more glistening and texturized. It emphasizes those details. On this side, if you notice, she's got these, like, if you call them tumors, but like little, I don't know, little lumpy, textury things here. These are actually papier-mâché beads that I made, and if you want, you can look back in Arts and Creativity for all of the, well, it was just, I believe it was just one that I made, one tutorial on that. It's very easy to make. But yeah, after I painted it, I applied these on with Mod Podge, let it dry, and then applied a full coat of Mod Podge on top of that and let it dry. This is still drying too. It takes a while for these to dry. It's a long process. Also, let's let you know, before I actually did all this fancy stuff on it, it was pretty plain after I, got it together. So it stayed outside for a while, weathering, and I've been liking doing that, weathering the dolls, because then they end up like getting this texture to them. It's just wonderful. I also had added some a few like leaves and things like that into it, which you probably can't see, but it just added more texture to the doll itself. And once she's done, she will be on my Etsy shop as well. www.darkmoondoll.etsy.com. I'll put her to the side for now. Now I want to show you two of the dolls that I have on my shop. Well, they're not the only ones, but just two of the many that are on my shop. This one I named Amanita Dark Moon. As you can see, she has like Amanita mushroom head, which was made from a stone I found from Fort Bragg, California, by the ocean. And this bottle is just made from an old soda bottle, which I painted the design on, glossed it with Mod Podge. Before I even painted it, I papier-mâchéed the bottle so that the paint would adhere to the bottle a lot easier. A lot of times when you paint it just straight onto the bottle before conditioning it with papier-mâché, the paint will chip off a lot easier. So I like this way of doing things. Yeah, she can be used on your altar if you do a psychedelic trip with mushrooms or whatever. You can hold her in your lap and close your eyes and meditate with her and just imagine what she looks like. Anyway, you can read the description on my Etsy page too. I tell you more about that on my Etsy page. And I sign it on the bottom of it. I sign all of my artwork too. And as an artist, I think that's good for people to sign their work, so that also for you, so you can keep track, put name and date, so you'll know exactly when you did your creation. Especially if you're like me and you create a lot of stuff. It's good to be able to put a date on it, sign it and date it. So yeah, just for your own records. And then look, there's kind of like tentacles. I don't know if you can see that. It's very intricately painted on there. So it's easier to see it even more up close too if you go to the shop, because I have like I think 3 or 4 different photos of it, of this Amanita Dark Moon. Alright, put her down. Yeah, I love doing art, obviously. It's so much fun, and the dolls are fun because they're little miniature beings that you've created yourself. This one that I'm going to show you, it's all wrapped up nice and neat, is on my shop. This one is a repainted doll that I created. Let's get her out of here. And she's on my shop, like I said. She's got a little crooked dried up feather on her head. She's a shaman doll, what I call a shaman doll. Her whole body, okay, first what I did was, I say I like to papier-mâché the dolls the items before I do it, like the bottles. I don't always papier-mâché the repainted dolls I do. So this is a repainted doll. There's so many categories of different types of dolls. I think when you go even further than just painting it like a lot of the gothic or horror type dolls, I go a lot further, so I consider my dolls more than repainted dolls. I consider them art dolls, because not only do I paint the designs on them, like see the teeth and everything, the eyes, see skull there, right there. She's been through some stuff. Not only do I paint the design really intricately on there, and I gloss it over and over again, and I braided all of the hair on her head. I braided the string, the ribbon going around, and that's ribbon, but the yarn that I attached into her hair to give her some a little bit more color in her hair. Each braid that is on her hair has a bead attached to it at the end, and I attached those beads myself. I hand braided each and every single braid on her head. And as you can see, there's also polymer clay, let's see if we do this, polymer clay beads, kind of like a headdress to keep some of her hair up. And those polymer clay beads, those are bone beads. I made them myself, hand sculpted, painted with acrylic paint. And then in the back, here's like a little horn type deal that I made myself. All of this is polymer clay, the skull too. Polymer clay skull bead that I have in there. So yeah. And you can see, I don't know if you saw in the back, let me turn her around again. On the back you can see she has the leaf pattern throughout, and there's also, yeah, there's a skull and a crossbones on that side. And let me just show you on the top, the belly right here, and pull her hair back a little bit. See the skull with the snakes in there too, and her hands are painted blue, and little dots. And then on the other side there's an actual eye on there, like for the evil eye. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I think I consider more than just these dolls than just like a hobby or anything like that. These are works of art. They take a lot of time and energy put into them, you know, and a lot of love and care. And just like all the other work that I told you about, it's all like channeled through Mother Earth. It is. I mean, I come outside and I work on them, and I hear the birds chirping. I just saw a squirrel just scurrying across the lane. All of this, all these things around me, it affects me and it inspires me. And so when I create something, it's not like I have it driven down, like I have it drawn down, you know, or on a notepad or whatever. Nah, it comes from, it's like, just flows out through my hands. If you ever want to see how I make dolls like this, or the other doll I just showed you that looked like a rabbit, a little small rabbit with all those bumps and stuff on the face. Yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I can show you how. You don't have to make one that looks exactly like mine, but if you get a basic idea of how to do these, you know, then you can create your own original piece of artwork.